Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our March 27th edition of MATC Now, streaming to you live from the Milwaukee PBS studios located in the downtown MATC campus. I'm your host, TC Muzinga. Today we'll learn about the Chemical Tech program, we'll tell you of an inspiring motivational speaker, and we'll find out a little bit of an MATC student organization president. That and much more today here on MATC Now. Welcome back, everyone. Not only do we have a jam-packed show for you today, but we also have a very special guest co-host joining us in the studio today. Please allow me to introduce MATC's Associate Provost, Miss Barbara Cannell. I'm sorry.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. Good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So I understand that you have quite a history with MATC. So can you tell us a little about yourself and your time here, as well as the various roles you've assisted MATC with being here?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I actually came to the college in 1990 as Associate Dean for Consumer and Hospitality Programs. So I had things like culinary arts and interior design and many of those programs that the college still has. In 1995, I became a Director of Articulation and Transfer. And from that time on, then I became Associate Provost for the college, where now I supervise college-wide initiatives like the library, curriculum, IR, instructional support, and those kinds of programs. So it's exciting to be here. I've been very fortunate to have a long career with the college, and I'm happy to serve.
Yeah, you sound like you're pretty much a big deal here, huh?
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm glad to be here.
All right, well, let's join Jeff Gust as he shares the story of a student here who is also the president of the Asian Student Association organization here at MATC.
And hello, my name is Ku Vang, that's spelled Kouvang. I'm a student here at MATC. I'm currently in the business management program. I'm currently the president of the Asian Student Association club here at MATC as well. I've been here since 2013. College has been quite an experience, both good and bad, and it's definitely shaped me into the person I am, and I don't think I would have gone to any other college besides MATC. College has really opened my eyes in terms of being able to see the diversity in our communities and being able to accept it and understand where others come from. And just not that, but being able to really understand and find myself even more, to understand myself and where I stand in my culture and such like that, and to really solidify it and build my views in terms of how I view things within the American society that I live in, as well as my ethnic community that I live in as well, such as ethnic norms and taboos and such like that, and how the influences of American culture and Americanization has influenced me in terms of seeing things in a logical light, being able to process things logically. In that sense, it's pushed me to an extent where I see these differences between these cultures and ethnicities, and it drives me to push forward, be the best I can, and so that I could somehow contribute back and give back to my community and be able to help it adjust into the American community, but not lose its identity, and such as with Americanization. I think that's what makes us such unique individuals as Americans, is because we're a melting pot, and if we lose our culture, then we lose our identity. And I'm really proud of my culture, being a first generation born here in America. I know I'm still rooted in terms of to my cultural roots and where we come from and our backgrounds, but I also am grateful and blessed to have been able to been born in this country and have reap all the benefits, as well as have all the privileges that come with being an American. And I'm proud to say that I'm a Hmong American because, of course, I'm proud to be American, but at the same time, I'm proud to be a Hmong individual as well.
What an interesting package. It's nice to see a kid like Hu Vang so motivated and a student with lots of goals. So what do you think about that package, Barbara?
Well, I think as well it's very motivating to hear that. I think it's really important to hear our students' stories and what drives them and what we can do as a college to help them be successful and to understand their cultural backgrounds. One of, I think, our biggest assets for MATC is how culturally diverse we are, and what a great value that brings to the college.
Yeah, and I like that he was able to take everything that he's learned from the organization with his culture and other cultures as well, but also contribute to the community, which is also really nice. So yeah, thank you so much for your insight, Barbara. So for our next story, we're going to join John Brooks with an inspirational story, as well as Sochi Marquez as she fills us in on some of the MATC's new board's members.
Unity, equality, and variety. 3 factors that make up what we call diversity. To be different, not the same, but together under one roof, whether it's race, sex, religion, politics, or having a disability, being diverse has no limitations. And here at MATC, we have variety like nobody's business. But can being diverse also be taught? This is something that I've asked Matt Glowacki, a motivational speaker from Janesville, Wisconsin.
Well, diversity to me is a learning process that people go through as they experience more about themselves and they learn more about themselves through other people's differences. A lot of times people never hang out with people who are different than themselves, and so they don't have those learning moments where like maybe stereotypes and generalizations that they buy into or they don't even know they're buying into are revealed to themselves.
Matt is a wheelchair-bound athlete and motivational speaker who has contributed himself to teaching folks all about diversity. He has a program that he takes all over the country, which he calls Diversity, according to South Park and Family Guy.
Well, both of the TV shows are pretty amazing. They both teach, both Family Guy and South Park teach through the use of parody and satire. And so a lot of times people watch these shows and they get offended at all the things that they're saying, but actually what they're trying to do is make people a little bit more engaged in television viewing than they normally are. Because we do use actual clips from Family Guy and South Park, the audiences tend to be pretty large for my programs, and I really like those. I don't know about you, but when I watch Family Guy and South Park, I'm so interacting with the program, I talk to the TV even when I'm the only one in the room. And so I think these are great shows, and I use them to illustrate different points of diversity because they do a lot of teaching in the shows. Family Guy usually has 1 or 2 really good moments in each one of them where they try and really teach some moral value to the audience, and sometimes they do it in an offensive way, but they're trying to make a point. And South Park, they usually have 2 to 3 different plot points that are designed to teach people, a different way of looking at things in every episode. So I like both of the shows.
You can catch Matt at all 4 MATC campuses, from downtown to Mequon to West Allis and Oak Creek, from March 28th, 29th, the 30th, and on April 8th. For more information, go to matc.edu or go to www.mattglowacki.com. Check it out, meet with Matt, and learn about diversity and watch some Family Guy and South Park while you're there. I'm John Brooks Nicholson, MATC Now.
A group of individuals, serving without compensation, work together to ensure that MATC is meeting its commitment in increasing the potential and productivity of the people in the district. David Dull, President and CEO of Alice Roller, is one of those individuals.
It's a volunteer board of 9 members, and there's rules or qualification guidelines that are set by the state of Wisconsin legislature. So there has to be a certain number from business, some small business, some larger companies. There has to be someone from education. For example, Dr. Driver of MPS is a new board member.
Dr. Driver is the newest appointed member of the MATC board. Her position as superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools qualifies her to be a part of the ongoing student achievement improvement at MATC.
I think 3 of us are up for reappointment. That's because it's 3-year terms. So every year, 3 members have to be either reappointed or somebody new.
I was a board member for 20 years. I believe I'm the longest serving board member ever in the history of MATC. You can check me on that, but I think I am. You know, schools like MATC just have a certain place in my heart. And after I had worked in the printing industry here in Wisconsin for a while, when I had my son, I went to work for MATC. And I taught printing part-time and developed a deep attachment to the college. And then when I went back to working full-time, some people from the college approached me about applying for one of the positions on the board. Board are the ultimate responsible parties for MATC. It's for campuses, all its students, and even if you think about it, the president of the college really works for the board of directors. That said, the board doesn't work in the college. So it's not like the board are the folks who daily do something with the operations. They more sort of set the direction, review the policy, make sure the ship is sailing in the right direction and representing sort of the best of public interest in doing that. I was a very big advocate when I was on the board for programs that don't often bring in a lot of money to the college and may not even be seen sometimes as, you know, the things that everyone notices, like childcare or our adult high school program. You know, but there are pieces of MATC that provide the support so that it continues to be an institution of access that were very, very important to my commitment to the college.
You know, I would like to see enrollment increase because there's every reason that it should in Milwaukee, where we have very high population center, we have relatively high unemployment. This would seem to make you think we should have more students coming, because if the unemployment's high, then we need training, we need to show and encourage people to improve their job skills. So the enrollment piece is what I'm really after.
To learn more about what kind of issues the board is currently addressing, sit in on one of their meetings held on the last Tuesday of each month. They are open to the public and are always held in the downtown campus in room M210.
Very interesting. You know, one of my favorite parts of the first package that we just watched was he said being diverse has no limitations, and that was dear to my heart just because I'm from a small town and I came to Milwaukee and I just needed to meet people that, you know, looked like me or didn't look like me. But I think what shocked me the most is that I'm not big into cartoons, but Family Guy and South Park, the fact that he brought that up and talked about how they kind of, you know, bring out diversity in the shows. I mean, I was intrigued by that. What did you think of that first package that we watched?
I thought that was really interesting as well, that he's chosen to use those two series to try to appeal to multiple types of people, as well as bring his points home about diversity and cultural and all ethnic diversity, as well as all types of diversity in his message. So I think the college is really happy to have him on campus, and I think his message will resonate with our students and staff.
For sure. I'm going to have to find some time to listen to him talk.
Me too.
He just sounds like a rock star.
Yeah.
But so to the next package that we watched, two people that really struck out to me, superwomen, Dr. Driver and Lauren Baker. I'm just so shocked that she was the longest running member ever. Yeah, so what did you think of that package?
Well, I thought it was great. I think I've known Director Baker, formerly Director Baker, her whole time on the board, so it was interesting to hear her message today, and I found that really resonated with what she did and what she believed in for the college and for the board. She truly was an advocate for many programs, as she said, for things that were sometimes not heard, like early childhood and whatever. And to have Dr. Driver, what a nice benefit for the college as well. I look forward to getting to know her as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so what is, I have to know, because you seem like you know who she is, right? So what is she like, Lauren Baker?
Lauren Baker. She was a very passionate, committed member of the board. As she said, she came from the printing industry and really has worked through in MPS and other parts of the educational community to really be an advocate for education and for programming and for the MATC community as a whole. So it was great working with her.
Now let's join Mike and Kwa with our program of the week featuring the Chemical Technology program.
Qualitative and quantitative will look at slit width. The chemical technology program is like qualitative and quantitative will look at slit width. The chemical technology program is like any of the other occupational programs at MATC. It is a hard program. You can't get around that because you're doing math, you're doing chemistry, you're combining them all in one.
I was not supposed to finish up that program. I was just supposed to take Chem 1 and Chem 2 and leave. But I was like, wow, chemistry is fun. Yeah, I should keep going with that. So I kept going. I take some different classes, but they're all related in a certain way. They're all related. You can think that you're gonna take that chemistry classes just for that purpose, but not. You're lying to yourself. You have to relate to another class.
Hands-on experience. You get hands-on with a lot of the different instruments that you use in the field. I mean, you're not going to use all of the instruments in the ChemTech program, but you'll use at least one of them.
It's lab intensive, instrument intensive. The idea is to get these students into the lab and into the workplace as fast as possible. So we want to make sure we train them correctly, that we do viable experiments, viable processing, so that when they do go to the industry, they are basically industry ready.
This program is meant to mimic the industry.
It's everything from water treatment facilities to breweries to synthesizing organic products for reagents for pharmaceutical drugs.
I might not be too excited about leaving, but at the same time, you know, I'm optimistic about getting into the industry. So that enthusiasm is there. You know, I want to go and showcase or, you know, use the skills that I've actually learned here.
Most of us in the program job out. We don't get to finish because the companies hire us and then you're working full time and then it's hard to do the school schedule.
Our occupational programs and our emphasis on, you know, practical application, hands-on application, I mean, you just can't get it anywhere else.
Joining us now in the studio is Mr. Scott Schlipp. How are you?
Pretty good.
All right. So I'm curious, what do you need to know as far as skills, knowledge, in order to do well in your job?
Basically, you need to have the curiosity, I guess, because with that curiosity, you have the discipline to do it. I had my brother, he's a pharmacist, come talk to my class a couple weeks ago, and he brought it home with, he was trying to tell these students, you know, you got to have the discipline, and with chemical technology, it's very important because it is chemistry, it's math, it's difficult, but it's rewarding. I never guarantee a job to a student, but you know, if you come to the ChemTech program, it's very likely you're going to be working very quickly.
Sure. What kind of jobs can you get with chemical technology?
So the chemical technician program has basically two pathways. There's what I always call the traditional lab way to go, where you're wearing the lab coat, you're doing benchtop chemistry, running the instrumentation, and then there's the other side where you're doing the chemical processing. You're mixing the chemicals, you're making the product that they want at the end. And the difference between the two is that you're going to make the money on the chemical processing. It may be more interesting doing the lab part, but it depends all on what you want to do. And so there's really two pathways that you can take in the program.
Interesting.
And how many careers are there in this profession?
Wow, we talk about that a lot. I mean, you can go into, we've had students that do regulatory writing, standard operating procedures. So they're not really in the lab, they're actually on the administrative side. There's, again, the processing, the lab, R&D, quality control. I mean, you can branch into anything. They always say chemistry is like the foundation science of anything. Once you have the chemistry, you can use that pretty much anything. I'll walk by, say, a geology class or a biology class, and in the beginning, they're always talking about the atom and the structure, and so it all ties into what you're going to do ultimately with the program.
And do you see an increase or decrease in this line of work?
As far as the industry, I see a higher demand. Especially in the last 5 or 7 years, I have seen a lot of companies come to us. What they've come to realize is it's not as easy as taking someone off the street or taking somebody from maybe an entry level job and teach them just to mix some chemicals together and make the product. It's not that easy. You got to have documentation. You got to do it correctly. You got to know what you're doing. The industry wants people that can think and that can think critically, and so that's the skill set that we need.
So how can students benefit from the program?
As in the ChemTech program, and I'll always say any of the programs at MATC, we have what's called the occupational programs, and so at least in the ChemTech, I'm sure the other occupational programs do the same thing. They try to mimic what you're going to see in the industry, and so I try to keep the lab environment, the way it's going to be in the workplace. I want them to do the experiments that they're going to see in the workplace. A lot of employees that have hired my students, when they come talk to me, they say one of the bonuses with our students is that they're not afraid to just dive in and start doing the work. And so they're prepared and ready for the industry when they leave the program.
Mr. Schlipp, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. So now we're going to we're going to hear from Joe Carini as he gives us some insight on the Community Service Agency Fair.
Tuesday, March 21st, all 4 MATC campuses saw a total of over 40 nonprofit and volunteer organizations attend the Community Service Agency Fair. MATC has set out to bring the community and these organizations together in hopes of giving back to our city. MATC Now caught up with Yvette Artis, an instructor in the Early Childhood Learning Program and member for the Center of Engaged Learning.
The event today is the Community Service Agency Fair, and we've brought in about 7 to 10 different community agencies to all 4 campuses, which is really exciting. We worked with United Way to do this, and it's really a way to help students come in and realize what is being offered out in the community, and for students here at MATC to be able to have a chance to give back.
Organizations attending the fair, which is only the second of its kind, look for general volunteers to help with operations and man community events, as well as individuals with specific skills to contribute to their causes. If you were unable to attend this event, don't worry. It's always the right time to get involved and lend a helping hand to a cause that interests you.
So if students aren't able to come in today for this event, a great thing to do is go to the MATC website. Underneath there, look for Community Connection. Click on Community Connection, get your name, student ID in, and in there are just hundreds of student volunteer opportunities. And it's not just for the students, it's also for faculty. So anybody wanting to do any type of volunteer work, go to Community Connection and you will find a ton of opportunities there.
And now let's join Ticia with the MATC Minute.
Let's jump right into the MATC Minute. We have a few things coming up this week. Today, the Quadrant Series hosted Managing Anger in room M612. Tuesday, March 28th at the West Allis campus, we have guest speaker. He's a diversity artist and motivational powerhouse, Matt Glowacki, in room 107-117, sponsored by Student Life. Wednesday, March 29th, there will be a transportation job fair at the Oak Creek campus from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The West Allis campus will host 2 sessions of credit for prior learning and experience day. The first session will be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the second will be from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the lecture hall. On Thursday, March 30th, Mequon campus will also host the credit for prior learning and experience day with 2 sessions as well, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the lower level. Diversity speaker Matt Glowacki will hold another interactive seminar to demonstrate opportunities to learn how diversity motivates and drives the choices we make every day in the lecture hall. It's that time of the year. The deadline for graduation applications are Friday, March 31st. Congrats to all of our graduates this year and good luck on your future endeavors, graduates. This concludes your MATC Minute for today.
And now we will join Mike as he speaks with Ms. Kathleen Hull.
MATC is committed to doing what's best for our students through class sizes, lower cost for classes, or new programs like the MATC Promise. Let's do a quick recap of what the Promise is and who can apply for it. The Promise is a program that provides free college tuition for students who meet eligibility criteria. This program is designed for direct from high school graduates who enroll at MATC. Students have to graduate from a high school in our service district or reside in the Milwaukee Area Technical College Service District. Students had to apply for the program by January 13th, 2017 and complete their FAFSA by January 31st, 2017. The criteria also includes a 2.0 GPA, 90% attendance, and an EFC of $4,500 or lower. Students who meet those criteria then are eligible for free tuition and fees for 5 semesters for up to 15 credit hours a semester, not including the summer. Once at MATC, students need to maintain a 2.0 GPA, participate in service learning projects, and also attend career planning workshops. Here's a fun fact. MATC is the first technical college in Wisconsin to offer a Promise program, and we've worked closely with the 15 technical colleges throughout the state to offer similar programs.
Thank you to everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Barbara, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you all next week here on MATC Now. Bye.